Look, it's Vancouver weather, rainy again, and it's almost Christmas. I can't believe it.
Vancouver. This is what it is. I know, Christmas is like only a week away.
So what are we doing here?
We are picking up some last minute gifts because we forgot to buy gifts for our children. Just kidding. I'm sure it's going to be super busy. It's just a week before Christmas, but we still have time. I've been thinking a lot about traditions and how every family has their own traditions, and we've tried to create our own traditions. And so it's interesting to see like what I've brought from my own childhood into our family traditions because of what I remember. And a lot of it has to do with nostalgia.
On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Well, it's getting a bit hard to find stuff for the kids. Because
Yeah.
you know why?
Well, they're getting pickier, that's why. But not only that, they just have so much. There's like nothing they actually need. And yeah, it's hard to choose something that it's not just gonna end up in a corner somewhere.
It isn't just a problem with the kids, it's a problem with everyone, adults included, that I don't know. I think we have more than what we need. You know, we have everything that we need.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's why we don't exchange Christmas gifts anymore.
Well,
More because dude just doesn't like to shop. And every time I buy him a gift, he returns it. So what's the point?
a whole store and
Bust.
come up empty-handed. That was a complete bust.
Oh well, they get nothing.
7 swans are swimming, 6 geese are laying, 5 golden rings.
You know, I thought it would be busier than that.
Oh, really?
It wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't too bad, but the lineup at the cashier was pretty long. People getting their gifts. Would you say last minute gifts? I would say last minute because I picked up a couple of Starbucks cards and they were out of the envelopes for them. So he said they were out at all the Starbucks.
First world problems.
Well, thankfully, gift giving is just a very small part of what we do for Christmas. And it's just one of the very few traditions that we implement in our family. And earlier I was talking about nostalgia. They say that from the age of 10 to 30 is when those memories are the ones that form the nostalgia that you feel as an adult. What we thought was the one-stop shop, not. Now we have to make some more stops. As we mentioned earlier, our shopping trip was a total bust, but that's okay. We can still do some online shopping and hopefully it'll all arrive on time. I was recently watching a YouTube video on nostalgia and why we remember certain things and why they bring warm, fuzzy feelings. And we remember a lot of like the movies we used to watch or the songs we used to listen to, the food we used to eat. And during that time, that's what forms those warm, fuzzy memories that we remember now. Mm-hmm. And our kids are 12 and 13 right now. So the memories that they are creating now will be nostalgic to them in, when they're 40, 50 years old. So over the years, we've tried to implement some family traditions around Christmas that they remember year to year. And this year, I started to receive more questions, especially from my son, who has been asking, when are we going to go look at the Christmas lights? When are we doing this? When are we doing that? And it's been interesting to me that I never thought he paid much attention to what we do year to year. When I was a kid, on Christmas Eve, so my parents owned a grocery store, And the only day in the whole entire year we would close was Christmas Day. So on Christmas Eve, we opened until 10 p.m., but as soon as we closed the store, we would all pile into the car, and Dad would drive us all over town and into other cities looking for Christmas lights. And then at the end of our drive, we would end up in Chinatown in Vancouver and have wonton noodles and then go home. And on the way home, about a couple, or maybe about a mile out, there's this one house that's always beautifully decorated. And every year he'd say the same thing. See, why do we drive all over town? This is still the best looking set of Christmas lights. Do you have any memories?
She always accuses me of not having any memories, which is partially true. But our Christmas was pretty chill. We would have a family Christmas party, usually on Christmas Eve. And so when we get home, and we would be allowed to tear into all the gifts, which is different from how Flo was brought up.
One of the family traditions that we started, or I should say I started, was after we got married, that first year, I started collecting Christmas ornaments, one that would represent each year that we were married. And when the kids came along, we started to choose ornaments for the kids as well. But I remember thinking, well, I want one for us to keep to remind us of the kids, but also we purchased one for them that they could take with them if they choose. For the last several years now, we've chosen an ornament that represents our year, and they now help choose that too. So they're on our tree. A lot of our ornaments are 3 of the same, so that when they leave our home, they can take theirs with them, and we would still have one that represented that particular year. Mm-hmm. So, for example, we have this cow that represented our trip to France. I know it should have been the Eiffel Tower or something, but we spent 3 weeks in the country, and there were a lot of cows there. So that's what the kids kind of remember, and so that's why it's a cow that year. And for the year that we went across Canada, we have a maple leaf. And one year we also made ornaments instead. And we took a rose, like a silk rose, turned it upside down and turned it into an angel, which is very pretty. On Christmas morning, I will usually get up early, and Ella often gets up early as well, and the boys tend to sleep in. But I will make a big breakfast, and then we will all partake. And then that is followed by opening all our gifts.
Yeah, it's always fun watching the kids tear into their gifts, and hopefully we've chosen well.
Yeah, you never know. Our church has a Christmas Eve service. So every Christmas Eve, we do go to church to celebrate Jesus' birth. Mm-hmm. And after that, we always go to the same Chinese restaurant for dinner, because on Christmas Eve, nothing else is opened.
Yes.
So we do have Chinese on Christmas Eve.
Every year we order the same dishes, and we mentioned in previous episodes about how flavors and foods evoke memories and nostalgia, and maybe we just automatically gravitate to and order those dishes because this tradition, we do it every year.
Mm-hmm. And the kids really enjoy it too.
Mm-hmm. So another thing we do around the Christmas break is we go see the Christmas lights. We go to a certain place, or we go a certain circuit to look at Christmas lights. And that's the thing that our son asked about, was whether we're seeing the lights or not.
We also have our annual family get-togethers. Well, this year we have 35 people, and we are actually hosting this year. It's always a potluck, which is great. Pretty much everyone brings their favorite dish that they always bring every year. So we have the same food every year. And I think last year one of my cousins tried to mix it up. It was good, but it was just not the same because there was something missing. Over the years, we have tried to just spend less instead of trying to outdo each Christmas year after year by buying more elaborate gifts or spending more money. We've just been trying to enjoy the simple things about Christmas. And that means, doing some of the things that we have created as traditions for our family, and kind of focus on just spending time with our family and friends and remembering the reason for the season. And for us, that means celebrating Jesus' birth.
You know, the world we live in is filled with noise, and things nonstop want to grab your attention 24/7, you know? And as you said, it's a time of the year that we can just refocus on what's important. As always, we love to hear about your guys' stories. So leave in the comments below what are some of your favorite family traditions in this time of year, and share it amongst the whole crew.
We want to wish you and your family all a very Merry Christmas and the very best in 2020. We'll see you again before then. But till then, be simple, ordinary, and joyful.